So starting this week, every Friday, I am going to be doing videos on basic poi. That is poi for people who are just starting out or very, very close to it. I've gotten a lot of emails from folks who think the tricks that I'm working on my tech blog are really, really cool, but who don't yet have the technical acumen to do them. So I'm going to try out working with people right from the beginning and see if it helps people get to that point a little bit faster. Every Friday you can tune in and I'll be having a series that will cover a number of different concepts. And this first series that we're going to be playing with is how to make turns with poi. That is basic real turns, such as this, or such as this. All kinds, right? In this video, we're going to cover what I consider to be the crucial element in making real turns, which I've heard referred to as a two-beat weave, or I sometimes refer to it as a tic-tac because it reminds me a lot of a trick of the same name that I learned as a skateboarder growing up in the 80s. It basically is rotating the poi forwards and switching which side of your body it's on, yes? Forwards would be considered, or at least I would consider it to be, when the poi is rotating in such a way that it seems to be going up when it's behind you and down when it's in front of you like this, yes? And of course you want to have it on your side in what we refer to as wheel plane. That is that place where it feels like when the poi are rotating, they are like a set of wagon wheels on each side of you, right? Cool. So, if you've got this rotation forward down, the next step is to play with switching it back and forth. And you'd be surprised how many people I've taught over the years who have a difficult time with this concept. A lot of people want to try and change the orientation of the plane such that when they get around over to the left-hand side, now the poi is coming up when it's in front of them and down when it's behind them. That's not what we want to accomplish here. What we want to accomplish here is be able to make it so that you can cross the poi in front of you. When you're looking at it straight on, this looks somewhat like a figure eight. And you'll note that there is essentially this position that looks like an X directly in front of you, wherein the poi seem to be crossing from one side of your body to the other, and this point is usually referred to as a cross plane. Now, the way you accomplish this, if you're having a hard time with it, is you first begin with having it rotating forwards, say on your right side, if we're using our right hand. And then you stop it. And then you try getting it rotating forwards with it crossed over to the left side of your body. And notice that my left hand, or rather my right hand, is moved all the way so it's even with my left shoulder. Yeah? And once again, when I'm there, I make it so that the poi is coming down in front of me, up behind me. Yep? And while I'm doing this, as the poi is going in front of me, I'm going to try and slide my hand over back to my right side. Once again, that is sliding it back to the right. And now I'm in that position I originally started from, yeah? Okay, so that's relatively easy, but what about getting back? Now, getting back is a little bit trickier because you're going to have to make that same switch, but you're doing it in a way that feels less natural. The way I like to think about this is that I'm imagining I'm pulling up on the poi when it's on the outside of my arm. And when that moment happens, I then try and pull up on the poi, pulling it up the inside of the arm, up the outside, up the inside, up the outside, up the inside, up the outside, up the inside. And the way you know you've got this is that when you look at the poi as it's switching over sides, it should look like it's coming straight for your face. Don't panic. Once you got this, practice it a lot. Seriously, this will come back to haunt you in so very, very many ways over the years. There are so many tricks that are going to require that you know this stone cold. You, of course, also want to practice it with your left hand, which is also going to feel kind of difficult, but all the same tips apply. you also want to try it out going reverse. And reverse, of course, is the orientation wherein it seems like the poi is going up when it's in front of you and down when it goes back behind your shoulder, yes? Now, switching this back and forth between sides on the reverse end, in most cases feels a little bit more difficult than doing it on the front end, or doing it forwards rather. The way I usually like to think about this is that I'm dropping the poi in some respects. When I pull it up, I let it drop back to the outside of my arm. Drop it, drop it, drop it, yeah? So as it's dropping, experiment with moving your body slightly to the side such that it drops inside your arm, outside your arm, inside your arm, outside your arm, inside your arm, outside your arm, inside your arm, outside your arm. Once that feels pretty comfortable, try doing it without moving your body. Inside your arm, outside your arm, inside your arm, outside your arm, inside your arm, outside your arm, inside your arm, outside your arm. So on and so forth, right? Once again, you want to practice it with both hands. For the time being, you can practice this with each hand individually. But where you want to get to is a place where it feels really comfortable to be able to do, say, like 10 to 20 of these with each hand in both directions. And when you get to a point where that feels really, really comfy, you're ready to move on to the next step, which we will be covering next week. And yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. If you have any friends who are just starting off with poi, please forward this video to them. If you guys have any suggestions, comments, or requests, please leave me a comment on this video. This is an experiment, and I'm really, really curious to see what people out there are thinking about it. So, thank you for watching, and I will see you next Friday. Peace.